I'd like to get some Nightcrawlers on.
We're not playing that together until Warmachine weekend.
We're not playing until Warmachine weekend. Parker, you're in the room. We are playing Nightcrawlers.
I'm in your room?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, to be fair, it's actually 2 rooms.
There are 2 rooms within the room.
That doesn't matter. Nightcrawler knows no walls.
I know.
No, not Nightcrawler.
Yeah, plural. It's kind of lonely when you play Nightcrawler.
I don't know. It sounds kind of entertaining.
Don't forget to bring the melted.
Can't you just bring butter sticks and they'll have a microwave in the room?
It's better when it's pre-softened.
So many things are.
No, see, we keep it 40 in the room to keep the butter from melting.
Yeah.
Until we want it melted.
Hello and welcome to L2 Wargame, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or PG Mutilus on the forums, and I play Convergence.
This is Max. I play things, and I don't go on the forums. F that shit.
Bad places.
It's Jeremy. I go by Lord Fool. I try to avoid the forums, but I have to, unfortunately.
And this is Parker Guidry. I go by Tweak, lots of places. Because of this podcast, convinced myself to play Signar now. That's what's happening.
So, going back to the forums real quick, anytime that you try to convince someone that they're making a bad decision, they're like, no, it's okay. I read this on the forums. And you ask them, by the way, which forums would those be? It's like, mostly Privateer Press and Battle College. Should you just walk away from that situation and just stop trying to convince them they're wrong? Because that happened to me, and I walked away.
Nah, just point him to Daka.
Okay.
That's really big of you to just, get up and be like, nope, but I'm not going to engage.
I will stop helping you now.
You can't fight religion. Just walk away. Just walk away.
You can fight religion.
All right, so what are we talking about today, Brent?
Today we're talking about
Hordes Devastation, Dire Prophet. Ah!
someone super salty.
Super fucking mad. But continue. You can talk about other things, I'm sure. Let's go. What else?
So we are going to talk about some of the new releases out of Devastation, the new book. It launched yesterday.
You've already heard all the
Whoa! Don't give away when we record that.
It comes out at some point indifferent to the relevance of this podcast. And we were going to talk about releases in the book that we now have.
We have them in our possession?
Jeremy, do you have a book?
No. I was talking about the releases.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, in theory, some of them.
I just have Battle College up.
Jeremy, that's a smart decision.
Fucking
Battle
hate
College
you as a
is
person.
really up to date.
But to be fair, I'm only using it for a list of crap that was in the book. And then I also have War Room open for, the real stuff.
Ooh, maybe we could rate, best thing per type in the book? Best
So-
caster, worst caster?
Best caster, none in the book, so moving on.
Okay. True.
Parker,
What?
why don't you tell us what you're excited about for Signar out of this new book?
There is a release for it.
There's multiple Signar releases in this book.
That's one of the things I want to talk about today. I really like Victor Pendrake's grad students, Linus Wesselbaum and Edria Lor. Like, how many vowels can you put in that goddamn... not even vowels, consonants. Like, how many consonants can you put in a fucking word? It's like you're having a stroke while you're saying their name. At any rate, I really, really like them a lot. I don't know exactly where they go in right now, but it's more magic abilities on a 2-model unit for somebody like P. Nemo. So P. Nemo actually gets buffs from them also, which I really like, because Wind Barrier is super cool for themselves, I guess. I guess it's just for themselves. As soon as I read that, I was on, I went fucking Wind Wall, and I read in this unit, and I was like, damn. That happened really fast. I was really excited for a second.
They're pretty solid for 3 points.
I think it's pretty cool. I think collaboration is interesting. Like, it has some interesting applications. Like, Striker 2 really likes it just to make sure you get that one super hit on the charge. Because that's the thing about him is every time you play him, if you don't get that crazy hard hit on the charge, you just feel like you've wasted your entire life. You might as well give up then. So I think it's really, really cool for Striker 2. I think...
Well, it's only boosted on collaboration, so I mean, he could just boost it anyway, but it is an extra focus.
Then that's the thing, so he's focus starved. I don't know if you put him in the list exactly because of that, but they also have True Sight, so there's more True Sight in the faction now. I mean, they were already full of it, but now you can start to feel like a completely true-sighted list, which is kind of cool. If you want to shoot lots of guns, which they do.
Isn't only she true-sighted?
Yes.
Correct.
I mean, they have Zephyr. I think it's kind of interesting. They didn't get anything like completely auto-include, like Iona and Holt or something like that. They didn't get anything that big. Signar loves Iona and Holt because the thing Signar doesn't do is hit like a truck. So +2 is a really, really strong ability, so it's not as auto-include. Also, unlike Iona and Holt, Holt himself is a badass. So when you pay 4 points for Iona and Holt, you're paying for harm, but also a model with 4 attacks and crazy high attack stats. So like, and hand cannons. You're not just buying only support. For these guys, their stats are low enough that maybe they're not making a combat contribution, but they're also 3 points instead of 4. So I don't know how often they'll be included in lists, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, Striker 3 would like that. Sorry, Striker 2. Striker 2 would like it. If you're playing Striker 2 to be what he usually is played, which is an oh shit button, is like, that's all he is. He's a walking, fuck, I guess I'm going ham.
Brandon, could you see this in Trollbloods anywhere?
They have way too many ranged options at this point, I think.
Really? I can see options.
I mean...
Free boosts on spells and things like that.
I still don't think it's worth it, because, like, there's the option, like, you can... It effectively gives your caster another Fury if you're trying to boost a spell, giving models like Grim 2's little guy with the knockdown gun an extra die to hit. Also, any faction that can also take Victor with these guys, you now get a 3 dice to hit Bolo shot that knocks down, which is pretty good. And he's got pretty good ride, if I remember right.
I think he's like 6 or 7, yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of utility options, but I feel like you're trying to build a pretty specific package if that's what you're going for.
They're part of a Rube Goldberg machine, I think. Like, that's what they are. But they might be really good for that. But King Shit a Fuck Mountain out of this is Huck Chuck.
I actually disagree. I think this unit's better than Huck Chuck.
Oh, really?
I think they'll see more play. I think Huck Chuck is cool. I don't know that what he actually does.
I think having 8 health on a model with Rust is enough. But he is kind of a meta choice. But he also has Quake. But
he's got a hit for Quake. Being Rat 6 is nice, but...
But Signar is a Deadeye faction.
Well, Signar specifically, yes.
Well, that's what he's talking about.
I was talking about Signar. I think actually in Khador and Minions, he's, like you said, he's kind of a... There might be something in the faction stronger, but...
I don't feel like Signar needs better to hit. I don't feel like their answer for I need better to hit is taking a speed 5 solo with a range 8 gun that is Quake.
Pecan.
It's Rust, is what it is. Really, it's Rust. It allows you to take down...
Sure, but I mean, it allows you to put Rust in both your lists, which is pretty cool.
Right.
I don't know how often Rust is good.
I don't feel like Warmachine is the side that's taking our heavy armor skews most of the time.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw Conquest. It's like, oh my god, if I don't Rust that, I can't win.
Right. However, I have one that way. Like, I think I could probably fill up a hand with how many times I've rusted a Colossal to kill it in Signar. Like, it happens.
Well, in Signar, it's more important for sure, but you also still have Gorman. And you can probably just play the game anyway.
I don't know exactly which one is stronger because you have to have a single model who's doing something really, really great with that single shot, but
the games in which Huck Chuck is good, he will be better than the unit, but the unit will be better in more games.
It's kind of Huck Chuck is kind of like a retribution model.
Yeah.
Like when he is awesome, oh my god, you'll be so happy you had him. But when he's not, he is pretty worthless.
I think he's really just missing Assault.
So Assault would make him a lot better.
Yeah.
It seems like every book now there's required to be like the token Ogren model hanging out in the back. Because in the last one they had that like Ogren Assault guy for Signar.
Oh, I just realized I read Collaboration. I read on Linus. I read Collaboration wrong. I thought it was melee attack. I read melee attack.
No, it's any attack roll.
Yeah, it's any attack roll.
Oh. Think of somebody else. Gosh, there's actually a couple.
good on Eris. It's good on a lot of things. You could get 4 dice Eris with,
Isn't that just a unit, though?
any model.
Yes, it's friendly warrior. So you could get, if you want to do things like Sloan or Nemo 3 or Brisbane.
I was thinking the Nemos really like it because they don't like spending focus to boost their gun that much.
Right, because they want to do all their other stuff. Yeah, that's pretty darn cool. I actually like that a lot. But you're right.
Rat 9 Eris doesn't miss much if she's Dead-Eyed and collaborated.
Yep.
Also, artillery. Making sure your artillery are basically Rat 7 boosted to hits pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the artillery objective, then you get,
But it's not in Khador.
Right, that's actually really strong for the Storm Towers, because Storm Towers...
It's not warrior models.
Wait, they're not a warrior model?
It's a battle engine.
Storm Tower.
That's the Storm Strider. Storm Towers are warrior
Oh,
models.
you're talking about the light artillery. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I thought you said the tower, and I just immediately went to the battle engine. The big tower.
Which, by the way, I have resolved to play my Storm Strider. I never have, but I'm going to try him. I swear to God.
Trying that Haley 2 list.
It's
Is there Haley?
no, it's Haley
It's
2
two.
theme, yeah.
Yeah, the Halo 2 theme list. I don't have 2 of them. I think it'd be fun to try that. Actually, while we're in the middle of minions, so all the light war beasts that pigs got are great, but they're still in pigs. I was really sad. Because every time I read one, I was like, oh my God, like for 4 points, the Battle Boar is great. For 5 points, Bladder Boar is awesome. They slide into like niches in their like war beasts can, in their little, what do you call it, a herd, I guess, of of different war beasts. And all of the casters can do something for them, except for kind of Sturm and Drain, because he doesn't do anything. He's an ass. But
What do you mean? He can TK the one so his inaccurate gun gets a little slight accuracy boost.
Helga having Gang Fighter on everything means that basically now any beast that you have, if you can get it in melee with one of the infantry, now it's +4 damage. Like those things hit like trucks.
I saw someone talking about how they were just going to take Carver with every single point in his list was going to be Battle Boars.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I cast Bat and they're armor 20 and 4 points each with 20-something boxes. And it's like, I run at you every turn with mobility, and you're like, awesome. Then they get to you and they just kill a lot of stuff and then frenzy, but you're like, they still killed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they go up to speed.
They're base 5, so they go to 7 with mobility.
And then the Rabid, they go to
9.
So it's a 12.5-inch threat Pathfinder on a light beast with Power 11s fully boosted.
And don't forget the feat gives you additional die if you need to break armor.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like the Battle Boar and the Splatter Boar are both amazing. They just have Carver. That's what they got. It's just so sad. Although I do think maybe because the Arcadius tier. Oh, that's actually no. You can't double up. I was thinking the Arcadius tier lets run Gorax, so you could do both Animi, but you can't do both Animi, so it doesn't really matter. But going +2, +4 would be cool. Actually, I guess that allows you to run Dr. Arcadius without that tier that gives you Gorax.
What Animus are you talking about?
The new Splatterboar's Animus gives you Corrosive Fist or whatever, +2 strength. Because before, the problem with Arcadius, Arcadius also is just kind of bad because he's a war caster. He's like a caster, like a debuff caster, but he has no ways to get it out there without dying like a bitch. But forced Evo, kind of anywhere right now. Like you can force Evo and then Animi, and now that thing's running at you with 20 strength. The big boar, the heavy. The fact that in that faction right now, with their beast, any one of their beasts can get really big with 3 of their casters whenever they want. That's pretty cool. But that's all they can do. Carver's the only one that gives them increased threat. So, yeah, you've made a faction that was already hitting like a truck at close range now hit like a bigger truck.
I did not realize that Carver's feat gained overtake. I thought it was just additional die on damage.
Nope.
That makes those boars a lot better.
Yeah.
Like a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, but Protectorate can now get more inaccurate stuff.
That's right, because for some reason they allowed like the pigs or something in there. Like, so dumb. So is there anything else in Minions anybody wanted to talk about?
I don't get the Blind Walker. I don't understand it.
I was really surprised that they got an arc node, and then I realized that it couldn't run, and I was like, what? Like, they made it as shitty as possible.
Can trampolite.
I don't know about the point cost of being 7 points. For,
I don't think 7 points is overcosted because it's base armor 20. It's just that you literally have to expect it to do practically no work, which isn't terribly unexpected for an arc node, but
yeah,
it's still a heavy.
but you're still paying to have it be an arc node.
Exactly. Like, it's not just an arc node. You have to make it an arc node. Like,
And it takes damage. Like, that kind of shit didn't need to be in there.
and, like, the Gators specifically have the smallest mind section of any spiral. So, if you take a couple good chunks, you could easily knock out your own mind, which makes him pretty worthless later on. So you're spending even more fury just to get your shit to do stuff. I don't know. And I think the only Gator caster that actually wants an arc node is Caliban, which he wants an arc node really bad.
Yeah, but on his feet turn, he'll kill that war beast.
Probably. It's fucking minions. What did you expect to happen? Like, that's how their shit works. It's just... I think it's a good release. I don't think it's the release that like, the arc node in Minions, this is not what they had in mind.
Nope.
It's not the arc node they deserve. It's the arc node that they need.
All right, how about the brigand attachment?
Well, we already knew about that. Who
I think
cared?
that is one of the worst releases, like, ever. But it's still one of the better options in their faction.
And he gives dig in and reform, which work together so well.
Let me dig in and oh, damn it! You got me, you fucker!
Reform could be really useful with Quagmire, but paying 3 points for that shitty combo is not good enough.
You're paying 3 points for Tactics Prowl, which is terrible.
For one more point, you get a Battle Boar. What the fuck? Like, in no way is that the trade you want to take.
I don't know. Maybe if it had CRA as a grant.
Yeah, but they won't do that because it's the elite cadre on the...
Be able to have that in something else.
If he granted CRA, he'd probably be good enough.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
It's clearly Minions have issues. I think they got a lot of helping pieces in here.
And a couple of pieces they can't use. That's just dumb, though. Why do they not just randomly work for one of the factions?
That is kind of silly, but it's because the problem isn't with the faction, it's with the contracts. That's really where the problems lie. If you had access to everything in Minions, you could build some pretty good lists.
Yeah. Why don't they have that contract?
They don't want Minions to be like a competitive faction for some reason. Moving on, Scorn. They unfortunately did not get a caster in this release. So moving on.
Pretty much didn't. He's not
Guy.
amazing, that's for sure.
I do want to say something to the people that think that Zal 2 is the best Convergence caster ever. He's not even the best Convergence caster that plays Bricky. Like,
You mean
He's
Scorn?
not the best Convergence caster.
people were saying, it's like, I was just looking at Zal 2 and realized we got the best Convergence caster.
Oh.
And it's like, no, you didn't. Like, Lucan is straight better than Zal 2. So...
Wait, you keep using the word convergence. Are you making a
No, they
joke?
said if Zal was in Convergence, he would be the best caster in Convergence, so they have the best Convergence caster. Because all of his shit says what says Construct on it, they don't realize that all my shit doesn't say Construct on it, and is better than his abilities.
Except for your feet.
His feat is better than Lucan's feat.
Does Tyr make anything wonderful?
He gets to
No.
take more dead things, or undead.
No, he used to take more UA.
He gets +1 FA on Ancestral Guardians and Immortals.
Yeah, who cares?
And you get a second UA.
NAGs start with
NAG start max load.
souls. Which is important because he
It's really
can't
nice.
give...
Yeah, he lost that He should have just kept that ability. That would have been fucking worth it. He's fine. I don't think he's terrible, but
It's a cool model. They got a character unit. We'll see. I don't know. It's meh. It's okay. It's 4 points. It's good for that.
it is not bad. It is very, very playable,
Correct.
which is exactly what you look for in a release.
And it's 4 points. If it was 5, I'd be probably disappointed.
I was going to say that I think they've done a really good job with character releases in Hordes in general. There is not one that's auto-included. I think it's really interesting because all of the Warmachine character units are amazing for their point cost. Even Visgoth Roven out of, like in some lists, he will win the game by himself because of the seeing through shit. Like, for some reason, I think it's really interesting that they've always done a really good job of making all of the Hordes character units really characterful and interesting to play, like a totally like a useful idea.
Instead of just being, this is what you take when it's available because it's the best.
I find the Legion one to be just like the Warmachine ones, except for they just don't play infantry, so they won't find 5 points for it.
Why would you take that when you could take another rake? Like, what are you? That's not the same thing.
Right.
I don't understand how Legion complains
Because
about breaking
two
armor
rakes-
problems, and they never take that unit.
2 rakes
Fucking idiots.
at POW 12 probably do less damage than 1 rake at POW 14 against an armor
They
20.
can be defense 15. That's pretty good.
Somebody noticed that the Legends of Lock like picture on the card is just like one of their characters' knees, like how they chose,
I haven't looked at the card.
like the art they chose for the card. Is
Oh
just like,
yeah, it's like his abdomen region, and he's like leaning forward into the picture.
I had to stare at it for a long time to try to figure out like what it was actually showing. I was like, is that a helmet? Is that like is he a Cyclops? I was trying to figure out.
They call him Tripod.
Yeah. I actually really like the Desert Hydra.
Desert Hydra could be good as a beater. It'll run into the question of whether or not it needs to have a better gun platform to be effective. Because you need 20 points of your army to do work before it gets to melee, usually. And it's not 20, but it is frickin' 19.
It's in the range.
The question is, Mountain King work before it gets into melee? It's better in melee than the Mountain King, but its gun is ostensibly the same as the Mountain King's if you're actually doing it from getting killed. I mean, spray 6s are bad, unless you want it to die.
Having multiple sprays is way better than having one spray 10, I think. Like, if you actually, in theory, got to charge...
But it's
like,
Rat 5.
So, the Mountain King is Rat 5.
Agreed. I think one Power 16 spray is better.
When you get there at point-blank range, doing a spray 10 because of either kill shot or assault is really bad compared to being able to just point at things and shoot them repeatedly. Like, he can go in, if you use the rest of your army or just your battle engine, clear a landing spot for him in the middle of their army, send him in, kill the heavy, or charge it with your initial, do your 4 sprays elsewhere, then buy 3 or 4 more attacks on their heavy to kill it, or even maybe a colossal, depending on how you buff it. I think it's valuable. I don't think it's going to be the end-all be-all of the Scorn Beast package because they have so many good options at breaking things.
Right.
But that's what Scorn does.
I also like Sandstorm a lot for casting it on certain warlocks and things like that. It's kind of interesting. Sandstorm as an
Maybe
animus,
on
like
Mac or something who's command 10.
You're basically immune to Gunfighter at that point.
yeah. But like you said, like because command values are big in the faction, I looked at it going, well, this could actually work. Like it'd be really hard to spray almost any of their casters if you have this guy. How do you
If
spray?
it just had some sort of survivability once it goes in, like if you could shove it down somebody's throat and, reasonably expect it to survive, Sandstorm would be really cool. But I don't know that you can do that.
You've got to kill it all the way at armor 19.
You do have to kill it all the way. It's just like the Mountain King. It doesn't have a whole lot of hitboxes, but they don't have the stone.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
don't have the stone to always buff its armor. If you put it in the middle of an army that's able to kill it, it will die. The problem is the meta we're in right now is not one in which the Desert Hydra is king. If we were playing 2 years ago when it was still lots of gunline type armies, jamming him in and saying you can't shoot anything within 7 of him is really annoying. Because everything has to walk directly away from him to try and shoot, and then they're probably out of range what they actually want to shoot at. And it's a huge pain in the ass. But in the current meta, that's not how...
And it's a huge footprint because he is command 7, but...
Ooh, just run right at Raven Tier with that guy. He's basically invulnerable.
Good. I mean,
like, what are they going to do?
They actually have a pretty hard time killing that.
Yeah.
I mean...
I guess she could do the Vortex Destruction trick, but it's probably still going to live.
When I looked at him, I was looking for not a glass hammer, and he is not that. He is just a regular hammer. Like, I really like him a lot. Critical Grievous Wounds, I love that when you have 5 initials. Critical Grievous Wounds is like in the ballpark. There's lots of different things he can do in the game. He's a melee beater primarily, I think, with the option for ranged, and he's in a faction that has really easy access to +2 speed and +2 damage, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's really easy to make him way too scary, and that's before you ever factor in a warlock buff of any kind. Defender's Ward's in the faction. Hey.
It is, but there's a lot of
2
armor
casters.
buffs in the faction.
Right, there's a lot of armor buffs.
And there's like 2 casters with IR.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, is it P. Makeda that can make him walk double speed?
Walk 10.
That's
And not
kind
shoot.
of a
He can't shoot if he does that, but he still gets all 5 of his melee initials. But
yeah. That's kind of a big fucking deal.
Not being able to shoot's a pretty big
But
fucking
it's
deal.
really walking 10's not a big deal in a faction where you can give him +4 speed pretty easily.
Where are you getting the 4?
2 casters.
Mobility, Morgul off of Xerxes
Oh,
2.
3,
Morgul 1 has Abuse, and then
Back 2.
Mac 2 has Road to War. And then you've got Rush on the Titan Gladiator, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he gets everything he needs in the faction, and he's chunky. I mean, I know the Glacier King's really great, but I feel like he is... I wish there weren't also elephants in this faction, because then he would be a really strong option, but there are also elephants in the faction, so people go like, oh, don't take an elephant. Why don't you just take 2 elephants? Yeah, you guess you could.
I think Xerxes 2 is going to be a pretty good choice for this guy because Signs Importance, when he can do 5 sprays, is pretty cool. Because he can also charge with a spray and just attack infantry for pretty much his entire activation, which would be cool. And then, mobility speeds him up. He has the damage buff of Ignite, is it? So he can do pretty much anything for it, but that's just what Xerxes 2 does.
Also, Sandstorm on that big battle engine base is also super cool. Having 2 huge bases putting out Sandstorm could be a big deal. It's one of those things that it's not useful until it is, but when it is, oh man. It's kind of like Runebreaker on Mulg. Like, it's not useful until it is, but then, oh man, you won the game.
Problem is most guns are at least range 8.
The thing is, you can't be sprayed. Like, that's what it does. It says you're not spraying.
Very few things can spray the Hydra, and then...
Really? Most sprays are range 8.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about if you put Sandstorm on Xerxes.
Right.
Which is a 9. But also they have to actually position exactly between 8 and 7, which is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you can do it easily and assume that you do it correctly every time, you end up with this perfect horseshoe of all these guys blocking charge lanes and standing in each other's way. So there's a limited number of models you can fit into that 1-inch ring.
It doesn't affect guns that really affect him anyways.
Like, if I played Scorn right now, if I was a Scorn player, I would ask myself, do I want a Titan loadout or Desert Hydra? I feel like those are 2, like, it's a choice that you need to make when you're building your list, but whichever one you go with, I think you'd have an equally really strong, potent War Beast anti-anything build, like either of those, which I thought was really cool. They actually made this Gargantuan a competitor for high damage War Beast output in the faction that already had Titans.
He actually, I think, outthreats the Bronzeback by a decent range, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
If you don't count the leash option with Makeda 2.
Right.
Because Bronzeback normally threats 7, he normally threats 10.
Mm-hmm.
So or 7.5. So he's just naturally going to outthreat it by 2.5 inches.
After being somebody who played Typhon a lot while I play Legion, like, I just love Typhon by himself, you cannot overstress the ability to have all of your primary high power attacks just having 5 initials. 5 initials is dumb as shit. There's a reason why nothing else in the game has 5 initial attacks.
It makes tramples and power attacks worthless on him.
I'm going to trample my Desert Hydra. And you're like, excuse me? Do you know what that does?
Alright, so the Immortal attachment.
It's fine.
I'd say strong to quite strong.
Yeah, I'd say more fine than anything. It's not amazing. It's not bad, though, at all.
It's certainly a nice option. You probably won't see
The
it.
downside is, for it to be effective, you have to lose models in your unit.
Can't...
No, he only gets off of friendlies, I believe.
The coolest person is Mordekar, but I don't know if that works that well either, so who knows. It's good, but it's not amazing. It's how Scorn collects all their souls. It's only off their own models.
I noticed that as I was playing Convergence against Danny, and I was like, he's not stealing any of my souls. This is amazing. All right. I do like the Extoller guy. He's pretty cool.
That's everything in that, right?
Moving on to factions that aren't that bad. Legion. They didn't get anything, right? Ravagors had already come out at this point.
Blightbringer's pretty legit.
I do like the Brightbringer.
As soon as I saw Blightbringer, I was like, wow, this brings P-Thags. This is, it might as well have just said P-Thags Bringer.
Bringer of P-Thags to the meta.
Because, man, it just slides right into his list perfectly. The list, I mean, it's so good for him. So good for him.
Why did they bother putting head slot on the weapons? It doesn't have a head system.
It's War Room.
Okay, that's true. It might not actually be on the card.
Just like that Power 18 shield cannon.
That's
How
true.
ago?
No, it's POW 25.
Oh,
the
that's right.
shield cannon was a POW and strength 25 gun.
And Negro 3's tail attack on the thing was like a 17 or 18.
And then it comes out as like 12. Like, thanks. Thanks, War Room.
Anyways, this thing's legit. It makes them want to try to take infantry, which we'll see if people want to try to do that, because they resist
they'd have to
strongly
buy 'em.
currently. What do you mean? Every Legion player should have 2 units of War Spears for that stupid starter box.
That's true. I plan on playing this thing in a army with 3 units. Because I'm going to play the New Blood Theme Force and take this thing, which is amazing.
Another funny caster for it actually is Rias, even though nobody plays her, and you can't use a feat on it except to get an extra attack. Bringing that thing up to, what is it, would be an 8-7 or some shit, is pretty cool.
8-6, isn't it?
Is she an 8-6? Yeah, saying that out loud is stupid, 8-7. But
Well, that's the Merc caster.
Ashland.
Yeah.
I think his Animus is super cool. Talk about just
It's situational. It's not a big deal, but it's not terrible, that's for sure. And he's ostensibly Mat 7 anytime he wants to go in, so Mat 5's not a big deal. He's also the cheapest, isn't he?
18 points, cheapest Gargantuan.
With I don't know.
I agree. The cheapest of each is clearly the best in the game.
No.
So Helios and this guy, obviously the 2 best from each side.
I mean, Helios would kill the fuck out of this guy.
Hey, you don't know that.
I mean, that guy can shoot him with his gun all day long, and Helios will say, I'm immune to fire.
More importantly, it only has 360 attack only
the
while
tail.
it's attacking.
Yeah.
That's better than the Hydra.
He can effectively get the Blightbringer to an armor 23. Right? 19 Death Shroud up to a 21, and then Spiny Grew up to a 23.
right.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
You probably just have tenacity instead of wasting 10 points on a Carnivian.
Well, he commonly takes one anyway. Usually it's because of the feat, and you're probably going to plan the feat for this guy. But when you have that, you could also take Zuriel, and at that point, those 3 beasts all being effective armor 21. Well, sorry. Carnivian would be a 22, the other 2 would be 23s.
I'd just play him with War Spears and a Ravagore and a Blightbringer.
Why would they be 23s, Brandon?
Spiny Growth plus Death Shroud.
Oh.
Basically only to melee.
To melee, effectively. But if they're shooting your beasts off the table at armor 21, I think you're...
With 54 boxes.
Right, with 54 boxes.
Well, that means that's all they did was shoot that, and then I'm going to feed it back, so... Okay.
No, sweet. Your sweet gun line is now in melee with this thing I just feeded back, and now it's going to stand there and be annoying, give everything... And you have concealment. Like, Zuriel is a 14-23. And that's without
15.
terrain.
15.
No, that's right.
Well,
no, I'm not next.
Fuck that. I would rather be 15-22.
Okay. Max is 15-22. I am a 14-23.
You're bad at the game, that's fine.
I love 2 units of War Spears flanking this thing is amazing.
Yep.
If you run the Beast Mistress Tenacity Battery, you can get them up to if you don't ignore concealment, that's a 15.
Also,
19.
there's like no reason to ever do that because Thagrosh has Fog of War.
What do you mean to do what?
Thagrosh has Fog of War.
Well, you just always do the armor buff.
Right, so you do the armor buff one and then do Fog of War, and they're going to be
15 19s. And then in melee 15 21s. No, not 15 21s. 13 21s. Oh no, 15 21s if they're charging because they have set events, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really strong list that goes. The problem with the War Spears with Thagrosh before is they had just low enough defensive stats that the 8 health didn't save them, and so your opponent would wipe off one trivially before they got to do their cool thing. Now they're a little bit too tough to kill. Everything's marching forward, and the Blightbringer is forcing players to move towards you because the Blightbringer is killing too much with a 5-inch AoE.
That's why I like the Ravagore with it, just because if you make it a 5-inch fire pie plate, it's pretty retarded.
There are a lot of options. Tariff. Wait, no, you can't do return fire off of Tariff because it only works on itself. But I thought about that just now. That didn't work. I really like this guy for P. Thagrosh and Rias. If you want to play Rias for some stupid reason, you could, I guess. I didn't really see anybody else that I was really excited about with it.
The twins! Oh.
Maybe Callus, maybe.
Callus would probably be fine. He gives it unyielding, right? Or something like that? I don't even know.
No, Callus himself would be really hard to kill if he hung out next to it because he has unyielding. So yeah, he would be really hard. Also, he has ignite, so it itself gets stronger, and then dark guidance. Also, he just takes lots of smaller dudes, and they would all go +2 armor around it.
Yeah, +2 armor, +2 strength. Swordsman and power 14 do pretty good damage.
Right. I couldn't think of somebody who.
Rias wouldn't be terrible, honestly, like you
Right.
said, just because she buffs the infantry. She doesn't want a whole lot of War Beast, but I mean that's a lot of points in a War Beast, but it's all she'd need.
Right. She usually just wants one, but it works.
You mean that and a Shredder or something like that, and then
Right.
she buffs the rest of the faction while he helps also buff the infantry more. I wonder if you can play rear guard with that. I didn't even try. That might be interesting. Because all the AD Ogren.
Yeah, I liked it a lot because it immediately did something the faction doesn't do already, and it buffs some of the casters that are on the cusp of being playable, but not quite yet.
Yeah.
So, because they're not that standard 3 heavies and lessers footprint that the army always seems to have.
Mm-hmm.
I just built the best list ever. Are you ready? It's Thagrosh New Blood Theme Force. Thagrosh has Blightbringer and 2 groups of Blight Wasps because they're warrior models, so they get the bonuses of the thing. Then
Wait, what?
because they're warrior models and war beasts, right? Because they're a unit.
No.
They're not warrior models.
No, they are not warrior models. They are a unit, but they are not warrior models.
Are you sure about that?
How could they be a warrior model?
What do you mean?
How could they be a warrior model?
They have hit points like a warrior model.
Is this Legion? They're a war beast pack?
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that was the case. Either way, I like this option. So I've got 2 groups of Blight Wasp, Blightbringer, Beast Mistress with a Stinger and a Shredder, Beast Mistress with Stinger and a Shredder, Beast Mistress, Stinger, Shredder, and then the last Beast Mistress has 2 Shredders, and then 3 full pots.
Why do you like this?
It's awesome. Yeah, all the little dudes. So it's a recursion list, so you want lots of corpses. So you have 18 members of the pot, and all the pots start with a corpse token. Then you've got 8 lessers and 8 wasps. So that's 16 more corpses on the board. And then the Blightbringer. And you can feed back the Blightbringer, and it's actually good.
And all the Beast Mistresses that are going to die.
Nah, they're fine. What are you talking about?
Is your plan for them to get +2 strength and armor and go in and kill things?
Clearly not.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I think this has potential. You guys don't like this?
Now you made me want to look up war beast packs, so I got my book. I'm finding it out.
There's literally no rules ever anywhere printed for them, so there's no point.
Seriously?
No, they're actually in the book, but because they basically did it with as few words as possible, it's very confusing. They were like, hey, they're war beasts and they're units.
It says war beast packs are units of small base war beasts.
Yep. We now know everything that everybody knows about war beast packs.
Okay, oh wait, here it is. It says right here, actually. Here's where Brandon's exactly wrong. A war beast pack is a unit, but each model in the unit is a war beast. In parentheses, in italics, not a warrior.
Bolded.
What page is that of what book? Because I think you're lying.
Page 16, paragraph 2, first sentence,
It's
in italics with the parentheses.
It's clearly been photoshopped.
Mm.
All right. So moving on then.
Yeah, there's some new grotesque things. There's a solo that's pretty interesting, maybe okay-ish, and
Yeah.
then
I like the solo. The solo gives everything stealth in his command. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
Well, sorry, all the grotesques in his command
is he just stealth by himself?
is a
Yes.
grotesque, so he gets stealth, even if he doesn't have it on his
I
card.
think he's better as a solo than using the grotesques.
he does have base stealth.
I actually really like the Assassins and Banshees with P. Lilith if you want to play her, because they will kill a lot of shit on fee turn.
Oh, sure. Unit with sprays that can potentially get extra die to hit and +5 armor swing.
Yeah.
Can do a lot.
A lot.
And they're speed 7.
Well, that's right, because of the Desperate Pace. It's a little bit of a Rube Goldberg, though. A little, probably too much, but it's good.
You're a Rube Goldberg.
Your mom was one last night.
Ah, damn it. Fuck.
Brandon fell to a mom joke.
I'm going to come to your house, Parker.
Ah, man, you should get a ride with your mom. She knows where it is.
It's kind of nice they all have silence.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw silence, I was like, "Oh, good. When will that ever actually happen?" I cannot imagine a moment.
What if
You go against Runes
What
of
if
War.
you hit a Hex Hunter and it lives?
Exactly.
What if you
Everything's
hit a
gonna
Warcaster?
vaporize in a puff of blood. Like
That's never
maybe
gonna happen.
does that work on
16
like
threat.
Wold? Does that work on Wolds?
They can't cast spells. Animi are not spells. Like, you can silence them. It doesn't do anything, but yes,
It would
you
work
can.
on Deathjack, kind of, right?
Yes, it would work on Deathjack.
Okay. Congratulations. Go Death Weasels.
Congrats.
You did
What
it.
if it hits your Warcaster?
Then your Warcaster can't cast spells.
Then your Warcaster becomes an infinite armor death machine.
Yeah, that's true. That's always the problem with brain damage on Bork. You're like, you can't cast spells. Like, guess I gotta dice the fuck out of you. And you're like, yep, guess you gotta. Damn it, Parker. I can hear that.
That's what I
alright.
think about
We'll
your
come through
goddamn
this fucking
trolls.
microphone.
That's what I think about. You use the word trolls in my
Hanging
presence.
up on you.
Get
But
the
to be
ice
fair,
patch.
he's now on a separate channel. I can edit that out.
Okay. We could just cut him out like he was never here.
Yeah,
This is gonna be really confusing.
this records each channel separately.
They're going to be like a minute and a half, just spans of time where nobody's saying anything.
And we're like, I agree.
They
Like,
got a
what happened?
Warcaster. He breaks things with an axe
I think Chromac 2 is the best caster in the book.
that we've talked about. Yes, I'll agree
Nope.
with that.
Best ever. I don't see how like this guy came out and people are worried about Doomy. This guy is amazing.
Cannot tell if you are being an
I'm
ass.
not joking. I think this guy is in the same class as Doomshaper. This guy is stupid good.
No, he's still being full of shit.
I'm serious. Like, this guy looks not only really fun to play,
I'm going to bite. Why? Explain.
because his game plan's not completely centered around a feat that you can play around by simply
So
jamming.
he's not a retcaster.
Okay. That is correct. You are not playing a bad faction.
I'm still waiting.
That's it.
No, wait. Look at his card. Like, did you not see what he does? He's amazing.
He's
Look at this.
good.
Carnage.
Not even close to Doom Shaper level.
He does so much personal work that it's like having an extra heavy on the table, if not more than that.
Okay.
He synergizes really well with all the living war beasts, pretty much. Like, I think this guy is as annoying to play against. Like, his feat turn, he comes in so hard that I don't know what you do about it.
And
I
then
think-
your war beasts become as hard as Doom Shapers are without Creelstone.
But you also have really good
And
threat
without
range.
the feat.
You have yo-yoing potential with Stalkers. You just have Stalkers. You have Primal.
You've got Carnage, which is actually working on
Right.
everything. Everything in your faction that is not a stone is
Nat
getting
10,
plus 2
POW
strength
20 out of feet on, like, your entire army.
Yeah, and then they're all frenzying next turn, your entire army.
Whatever
Said
you
outside
need to
of
be.
feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
He actually runs kind of a grab bag. He doesn't have to run all beasts, which is not like living.
he doesn't
Circle.
have to, but he should.
I don't know why. 'Cause hyper aggressive? Is that it?
No.
I feel like you could run a unit of living models that I'm sure there's. Fuck, I guess he just runs war base. Like exactly what just happened in my mind. Like he's got a really
You're
nice.
like, oh yeah, it's Circle. Their only unit is Blood Trackers, and they're okay.
He could run a unit of Death Wolves,
Yeah.
Damn Death Wolves.
and
Death Wolves would actually be really strong with him.
Did you see the controversy on the forums today?
no, we don't.
we don't
I
go
don't
on
go to the
forums.
forums.
Well, I guess it was actually Facebook, so Parker
I
might
don't
have seen.
do that either.
So did you know that the Death Wolves originally came out and they posted them as a Wolves of Ouroboros unit?
Yeah.
And then they said, just kidding, we made a mistake. And when War Room came out, it said that they were not a Wolf of Ouroboros unit.
Yep.
So they posted on their main website today the release date and picture for the Death Wolves, and says Circle Ouroboros Wolves of Ouroboros unit character. And everyone's like, God damn it! It's like, why are you doing this to us?
It's alright. The Legends of Halak can also not be in Fist of Halak, or
Well, it's not like they would synergize at all with naming.
that'd be a fantastic unit in that list.
Now that I'm looking at it, Skinwalkers actually with him become pretty scary as shit.
Do they?
Yeah. All
What do
going
they
up.
do? They kill things?
Yeah, they get the Carnage buff.
So,
They get Carnage, double swing on feet turn, plus 2 armor and strength. So now they're swinging POW
I
15s.
believe plus 2 armor is War Beasts, and plus 2 strength's 100% War
In
Beasts.
his battle group.
Oh, it's in battle
Feed
group?
his battle group.
All they get is the automatic hitting charge, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't read it in his battle group. Never mind. I took approximately no looks at Chromac.
I'm not saying you ever should run a list that's straight up here's my 4 war beasts, and that's literally my army. But I think the correct way to play him specifically is probably like 3 heavies, a unit, and some support shit.
Okay, we'll talk about something else in a minute. I don't want to get off topic. So, you guys like this guy? I like him a lot. I think it infuriates me that he was released because he gives Circle yet another way to play consistently, because he's kind of like another Kaya 2, so you have 2 options for the extremely aggressive Beast Brick, and then you've also got 2 options for the extremely tanky Beast Brick with Baldur 2 and obviously Bradigus. You also have 2 really long playing game attrition lists with both of the Morvanas, and then Kruger as a board control option. And also kind of Cassius in that role, but not nearly as well.
I actually really like him for the Riphorn Satyr, and like the Riphorn Satyr gets really dumb around him too. Mm-hmm. So there are lots of. I really like the Riphorn in general, but none of the casters so far have really wanted him more than any of the others. But Cormac does, I think, want him a little bit more than some of the others. Like you said, 1 Stalker is amazing. Maybe I guess 4 Stalkers, I guess, is what everybody wants to do. Because I really don't like that formula for Circle, because Circle has amazing heavies, and there's like everybody go, but does he have reach?
Does he have Berserk?
Reach is a big deal. Berserk is also a big deal.
It is.
And Lightning Strike might be their best beast animus.
I love 1 Stalker in a list for that reason that you guys just mentioned, but I think 4 of them is what is the
4
idea.
4 is just batshit insane.
Yes, but I've seen people run 3.
But you could run Pureblood, Stalker, Gorax, and double Riphorn pretty easily.
Lots of the beast loadout you see anymore is Pureblood, Stalker, and Getterix.
Oh, I totally forgot Getterix was a thing. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now I hate myself.
I think I would do like Getterix, single maybe double Riphorn, and Stalker, and like Gorax.
Yeah, you don't need a Pureblood if you're running Getterix, Stalker, 2 Riphorns.
So that gives you some reach. It gives you some really high armor, and you got Riphorns.
But
to
he's
just
on
be
the
total
ADR.
assholes.
And it's
That's
win
true.
more.
God damn it. That fucking infuriated me more than anything. He's like, well, you go on ADR until this ADR ends. I was like, okay, so that's fine. And he's like, but then you go back on ADR. I'm like, no, you don't get to be on 2 cycles of ADR because they like you a lot. Like, him and Haley 2, or Haley 3 pissed me off. Because they got 2 ADRs.
They got a tournament, and then they got a full ADR.
No, it was like 3 weeks.
They get
They were
released
literally
twice.
only legal for that tournament. And
No,
then they weren't.
Because they were
No.
available on the website. They were available at every tournament.
They were not legal at Rocky Mountain Rumble.
Well, then they ruled incorrectly because they were absolutely legal.
No, they were legal there.
Yeah.
What was it that they weren't legal at? I can't remember.
I
was
was
talking
that
with Cray
box
about-
was released, they were legal.
Yeah, because
No, you just couldn't play them on ADR.
No, they weren't on ADR. They were legal.
Hold on. They were legal on ADR as soon as the box went live. On the website, as soon as you could click the buy button, they were on ADR. And then when that season of ADR ended, they came off ADR until the release happened, which was like 3 weeks after the new ADR. So for 3 weeks, they weren't available on ADR.
yeah, at Rocky Mountain Rumble, Haley 3 was not ADR.
No, she wasn't. Exactly.
Right.
She was legal, but she wasn't ADR.
Right.
Anyways, that was pointless.
It was. All right, so we're done with Circle. They didn't get anything else.
They got the Cav, which is pretty cool. Storm Raptor is meh. Is probably the worst in my opinion.
They're riding goat shooting lightning.
I think the Mist Riders are great because it's really strange that they got another fast cav ranged unit. Only these ones, in my opinion, are just strictly better than the Tharn ones.
Yeah, because they just stealth all your stalkers on the way in.
It is an option. Putting Blizzard on a Stalker is really annoying.
We're in a faction where every other fucking model has Prowl and Camouflage.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have access to Blizzard. So they're doing something when they're not doing their Shock Bolt. And their Shock Bolt is a Magic Ability 7, POW 12 Crit Slam. And it's an actual Crit Slam, not a crit push like Thunderbolt from Gun Mages. It's actually a slam. That is fucking great. And they have camouflage themselves, so they can just spread around the clouds. One guy can get the cloud on another guy, and they all hang around him, and then shoot the bolts. If nothing else, they can camouflage themselves. And Battle Wizard on Reach, Magical, POW 10s. They are super duper cool, in my opinion. I think for 9 points, I think people will see them as be as amazing as the Gun Mage Cav. Actually, I think.
I think you'll see lots of min units to trigger Prowl, and they have the occasional
Right.
chance to go in and go for crits. But I see them as a support unit or as a combat unit if you want to take the full. Whereas you'll see Outriders you'll see them in min or max, but they're always an attrition piece. They're never anything else.
I kind of want to see them, even though they have camouflage, I almost want to see them in Pikaya almost, because then you can just give the whole thing stealth. And Pikaya's 3 stalkers or whatever can always have stealth also. It makes a really shitty thing.
Why would you ever play Pikaya?
I'm just saying. Infinity, Spirit Doors.
Mad 8 War Beasts.
Yeah, Mad 8.
But then you just play Chromac and cast Carnage.
But then you have to cast it.
Yeah. But you also have an extra heavy. As where Kaya is not an extra heavy.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying
Okay.
it's a Pikaya list.
Okay. Are we done now? Did we get everything?
There's the solo.
You have cool Gerlach Chickie. That's real, not Gerlach. I think she is cool.
Which one?
She's the one that can take D3 damage to boost, and then heals D3 when she kills something.
Storm Raptor's not very good.
And then, yeah, they have the worst Gargantuan in the history of Gargantuans. Followed by the worst character beast in the history of character beasts. Like, this guy puts Proteus to shame.
Why did they make this thing?
Because they got Stalkers. They got the best beast ever, so they're done. Not really, but...
As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, speed 7 is kind of cool, kind of. But the only way to make him go faster is Dogpile. Is that the only thing that makes him go faster?
Bounding.
It subjectively has the best defensive stat line of any Gargantuan. Or Colossal.
What's this thing called? I keep going to the bottom of War Room looking for Zapdos, and I don't see it. It's a Scarsfell Griffin? Is that what it is?
Yep. Oh, that's it. It's really overcosted for 19 points. Or was it 20? Should be 20. 19.
And Skyfire is just not that good in the faction.
Skyfire
There's-
is really bad.
I just wish it was like, what are we going to give people in the faction? Like, oh, well, they wanted a living Gargantuan. Let's make it Kruger's with something that'll help him when he shoots lightning with his gun.
And then they stopped talking about what they were going to do with it.
It's got 4 initials, guys.
I wonder if they said, well, it's going to be a bird. Well, birds, they're birds. So, hollow bones, armor
Birds are
18.
the words. They were thinking this really will counter the Nemo 3 gun line.
Now, hold on. It has a combined total of 30 defense and armor. Is that the highest? I think that's the highest. Isn't it? Like, the Mammoth is 28. Mountain King is 28.
No, the Mammoth is...
Eight
Is it
plus
defense 8?
Yeah. Isn't it? It's higher than the Conquest.
I don't know, whatever.
Conquest is a 27. Primaxium's a 27. The
Kraken's a
the
29.
Dwarf one, I think, is a 27.
Stormwall's 29.
So it's the highest. It has the best defensive stats of any Gargantuan.
Yeah, and the Archangel's only a 29.
That's true. The best defensive stats of
Said it
any
here. You learned it here. Learned a war game has schooled you.
Objectively.
Does that objectively include the lowest boxes?
No, I said defensive stats.
That is a defensive stat. Health is a defensive
Hey,
stat.
that's like your opinion, man.
The only thing I saw about this that I thought maybe forced Evo, but then you are sacrificing an amazing caster's half of the shit she does for this shitstorm of a bird.
But just think of it. It's going to come out of the shadows and raptor your face.
It'd be better with Kaya 1, where it was Matt 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That
You were correct.
Yes, that is a fact. We just broke it here. Kaya can just spirit door it around.
If you're worried about missing your single shot you get, she can take some Moon Arguses and make it
That's
red
true.
8, and then aim 10. And then you're boosting,
Hold on. Also-
you shouldn't miss.
Is this their fastest war beast that's not a light? Or is it just their fastest war beast?
Aren't some of the other Griffins 7?
The Argyle 7 also.
Okay, so it's tied for the fastest, including lights. So Kaya 1, it runs 14. She spirit doors in front of it. Game over. What? You can't stop that. That's going to happen.
Fair enough.
Wait, hold on. Does he get to cast Skyfire also? Because I don't know how you
No,
win.
it ran. It ran.
Damn it. How can we get Skyfire to be cast?
You take the Tharn Shaman UA, and that's how you get...
He cast it on himself.
No, he just has a lightning gun, so you get usefulness out of it.
No, you can't cast Skyfire is the problem.
Kaya
Because we're
can.
running.
And then, Kaya can Spear Door and then cast the Animus.
On a serious note, there is no reason why you could ever take this stupid bird. There is no caster in the faction or any faction. I would not take this with Nemo 3 if you told me I could take a lightning bird.
Well, if I told you it was 5 points.
What if I told you already had a cheaper Colossal that's coming out with same range but 2 shots and higher POW? Then you'd probably just stick with that one.
But it can't boost at will.
It's just shit on a stick. Moving on.
Let's just rate things by adding its stat line numbers together from now on. Let's do
All right.
that.
Like
So I'm
all of
pretty
them,
sure
speed, strength, mat, and everything.
Yeah, literally the whole line, even command. I'm pretty sure this thing actually wins because it's 7, 13, 5, 6, 12, 18, 9.
Does it get bonus points for every little circle icon?
And every icon is a multiplier.
So times 2.
Yeah, so it's like the power. Like, so you have 8 tokens, it's whatever the number is to the 8. That's a lot.
You know what actually wins then?
Any,
Lord of the Feast.
Yeah, Lord, well, maybe Belphegor.
Belphegor, yeah. Belphegor is the winner.
So moving on.
Can we get out of this terrible bad faction
Yeah,
now?
we're done with it.
All right, so Trollbloods.
Oh, no, that means we're done.
Most important thing they got is the knot.
Sorry, Brandon, I've already turned it off.
Oh.
We're done.
So, Parker,
I just wanted to intro this with saying how that since you're such a casual and fun-loving player, you have now decided to switch to Trollbloods to play them as a casual faction against your friends. Why are you so mean? Why don't you like people?
I don't know under what dumpster Horluck blew the design staff of this game, but it must have been the most epic BJ of all time. Their dick must have erupted in fireworks
Well, he
for
cups the balls.
days. And they must have just been like, well, there's no
He
way
cradles them.
there's no way we can't give him a tier list for half of his like, literally, there's not a version of this guy that doesn't kick total ass. There's not one.
Well, we're not talking about him yet. We're just saying trolls in general.
I'm sorry, I can only talk about Horluck right now.
We didn't even get through the unit, and he's lost it.
I love Horluck. Like everything about like the fluff of Horluck is amazing. Like he's a great character. But I can't stand that every single time somebody goes, well, I'm playing Horluck. Now you can play Horluck and fucking hose my goddamn faction.
Horlock needs Mulg in every form.
To be fair, I honestly think Doomy 3 could get away without Mulg and play a real game. That's the actual scary part. What if he was just like 4 Earthborns and you're
He's 1,000 times better with Mulg.
no, sure, a Mulg is amazing.
His fucking tier list lets you take Glacier Kings at 16 fucking points.
One of the only things I see that plays against him very well is Scar with 1,000 guys. So you build your other list, kill that. So one of the Grims and Doomshaper with Mulg.
Also, the list I've been looking at is like 4 Axers, so you can also kill infantry really well. It's awesome.
His tier list lets you take 16-point Glacier Kings.
That's not even good. Because you know what half of his spell list is? Congrats, you're already a Colossal.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's
That's
that.
not half of it. That's actually like one of 6 spells.
Right, so he loses admonition when you're taking 2 Gargantuans.
That's true.
No, he doesn't. He puts it on himself. He hasn't lost it.
It's realistically not going to be very valuable when he's standing behind 2 huge bases. It loses a massive amount of its value when that happens. Also, one of his best spells is now just pretty much worthless most of the time. He's spending half of his stack to buff himself when he could just camp more.
I am not saying that should be the thing that you do. It's written here. I'm looking at it. It's written in words that he can have 16-point fucking Gargantuans. I don't care that it's good or bad. Like, you're right.
I'll make you a deal. You can take the Storm Raptor at 16 points and not even play in theme.
If you let me take the Storm Raptor at 16 points in my faction and you give me 16...
And then I'll play this against you, and it'll be great.
In my faction being Scar,
I agree with your previous assessment, because we were talking about this before, that a lot of people are hee-hawing about his feat. His feat is a great denial feat, and it gives you an additional die on melee attack rolls. But those two things can be mutually exclusive. If your opponent says, okay, I'm going to make you pop your feat this turn for its defensive purposes, you don't get the additional die on melee attack rolls. The only problem with it is that would be awesome if this was in Signar faction that couldn't also give all their war beasts +4 armor all the time anyway. So, like, that's the problem is, on the one hand, you look at the feat, and the feat by itself is not the best feat in the game by far. Not even broken. Because if it was in any other faction except trolls, it would force your opponent to make a strategic decision about when they wanted to pop it. And that's great. It lets you dictate that feat to a certain extent because it is primarily a defensive feat with one little offensive caveat. But then it's in a faction with +4 armor.
All that shit aside, I honestly don't understand how people are losing their minds about this because you can just jam them. Like, I walk into you, like, their threat range is not insane. It really is not. Like, unless they get the perfect synergy of, like, Earthborn next to rough terrain, gets rush, and you position badly. Okay, I go in, and he gets an alpha strike on one heavy. Then he goes in and feats. It's like, I just jam you with my infantry. That can't hurt them anyway, because,
but it's
like
still
you already
minimum
said,
like 10.5 inches, is it not?
that you have to have the terrain piece there. That's nothing.
No, rush.
With rush? Sure, they threat 10.5.
Minimum.
If you put a unobstructed heavy 10.5 inches in front of an Earthborn, you should expect to get charged. Yes.
Yes.
If you have anything in front of him...
There's lots of things that heavies can't go that fast.
Sure, but it's not hard to put like a couple little models in front of your guy to stop them from getting to you, or you should be able to out-threat them. If you don't have a screen, you should out-threat 10.5.
But you and I talk about this, Brandon. His feat is good, but it's not the best part about him. The best part about him is his spell list. Admonition and implacability is stupid as shit, because one of the ways to deal with admonition in the game, if you don't have purification of any kind, is to just knock them down. Because you just slam some models, you just pick them up double hand throw, you have a feat or a spell or an effect. Like, there's tons of effects in the game that knock down.
Also, one of the ways to deal with protective fit, which is also why it's retarded.
Right.
You don't need Mulgo.
Any of their heavies with admonition also is really strong, because you're going to deny the one thing that can kill you. If you spend your entire turn maneuvering to get his heavy and it has admonition on it, you can't do it. It just...
Not to mention, he now has, which we haven't talked about, he has the ability to get puppet strings on a stick for 3 points, and he has Stranglehold, which is fucking retardedly awesome.
That's probably one of the strongest places for these guys to be, but realistically, I don't see them getting taken in a lot of the lists. So getting back to the unit, we'll get to Doomy in a second. The unit is Magic Ability 5, they have Puppet Master, they also have Wild Communion, which is the closest thing they've gotten to Fury Management since Mark II.
It's also Fury fucking...
It's a thing, it's just hard. It is hard for them to get that close. I guess they could run, which puts them to about 15-inch threat, but also, you could also just pull all the Fury off the beast that's closest to them. That's what they do. Puppet Master's pretty sweet. There is, most of the time, I think that in Trolls, you just expect to live without Puppet Master, but there's very specific situations on high-value attacks it does matter. Being able to Puppet Master Molg on Doomy 3's feat turn, to where he's got 3 dice to hit on a protective fit, and can re-roll the dice to get his crit slam, is pretty cool. Right, Parker?
It's fine.
Moving on to solos. What'd they get? Did they get a solo?
No, they got the pig attachment.
Oh, that's right.
Before we get off the knot, I was going to say, the one thing about the Dunian knot is it's 3 points, it's 3 more points of support in Trolls, and that's why I think you won't see it, except in very specialized lists that need very...
Yeah, but it's still 3 really good spells for 3 points. It's the cheapest way to get that ability in the game, by far.
I don't see Puppet Master being worth the 3 points you're going to spend for Creel Stones or...
Right, like I looked at a lot of my list, there's just nothing you can take out, really. Like,
right.
Like we were talking about at the store last night, and it was, just imagine Warders with Puppet Master on charges. I'm like, what would you Puppet Master? He's like, well, just to make sure you hit. And I was like, why wouldn't you just Fell Call them for the same points? And that's every guy gets +2 to hit, versus 3 of them can potentially Puppet Master.
Because depending, you can use it on damage, and the damage could be way better.
It could be. Like, you could use it to get crazy spikes, but you could also use it to get mediocre dice anyway.
Right, you have a 1 in 6 chance of it doing nothing.
And then they were like, well, you can heal your Warders. Like, healing D3 damage on Warders is cute at best, because if you move them up beyond the base-to-base with the back row of Warders, they just die. And how often are the back Warders the ones that are damaged?
Weird question. Magic Ability 5, why do they even have Magic
Puppet
Ability
Strings
5?
can be an offensive spell.
You can cast it on enemies. If they can hit your Colossal Puppet Master, damn, you shot my caster. It's like, reroll your 6. Oh.
When I looked at these guys, I was like, okay, cool. If this was a 1-point model, you could take one of them. I could see people finding a place for it. As a 3.3 unit, I don't see anybody ever prioritizing those over any of the other amazing support.
I don't know. I think there's lots of places you can cut things for what they do. I think you can look at Troll Moses. You can look at other things like that. I know Troll Moses isn't all the points, but you can usually find one more point after that.
Right. The one odd point is usually pretty easy in Trolls, because if you are trying to cut support, usually you can afford to min the stone, depending on what list you're playing, or if you're not playing the
And I
stone.
do think Fill Color is pretty easy to drop in a lot of lists, because it's usually fat that you don't need.
He does a lot more than just +2 to hit is the problem. Being able to stand up your guys and keep situations is really good. He's also just a combat horse if he ever actually gets to fight, which is amazing. Like he's like, I felt call myself in charge, and you're like, Matt 9 POW 12 weapon master with 2 attacks. What the fuck? That guy's supposed to be a support piece.
Out of like gimmicky lists that are doing something, who are requiring really particular roles to do some sort of, again, I'll say it for the third time this podcast, Rube Goldberg machine. I see them being useful.
No, I think they're really useful with like anybody that wants to cast a debuff, like Grim 2 would like it. Any Doom Shaper, honestly, because they all have Stranglehold.
So I would actually say Doom Shaper 1 more than any, because not only does he have Stranglehold, but he has Rampager, and making sure you land your Rampager can be game changing. He can also Fortune himself.
Yeah, any of the Grims are good just because the damage rolls are important a lot of times too.
Fortune Puppet Master boosted Rampager. Get fucked. This is happening.
Big Bushwhacker Officer and Mortar Unit. Boom.
Terrible. TRBLE terrible.
It's not terrible. It's fine. It's not going to get played. And moving on.
I do like it, actually. I think it's a very fluffy unit attachment. I like the mortar a lot. And I always thought Pig Bushwhackers were just a little behind the curve, because they do something no one else does in Trolls, which is have long-range guns. And now that they've got combined arms, like, they actually can choose to kill infantry pretty easily. I don't know. They're fine.
It's an AoE 4, which is pretty cool, too.
The deterrent is they have never been good, so no one really owns them. So it's not the problem of buying a $20 UA or a $15 UA and putting it in your already played unit. You have to go buy the $50 unit and then buy the $20 UA and then try them. And it's like, a lot of people will not go to that length.
E-Grim, maybe?
No, yeah, range 18 with combined arms plus guided fire is a thing that matters. And mortality can potentially make them actually really threatening to casters. They can...
Wait, what's guided fire do for them?
Mark target,
Guide
sorry.
fire.
Not guide fire, I said the wrong ability. But you can pop up burrowers. If you're playing a large pig list, you pop up burrowers to mark target on their caster. Your guys can walk 6. Are they speed? Their speed 6 is their burrowers, right? So you walk 6, shoot 18. If you also get a mortality on their caster, or just knock them down, you're looking at very reliable 2-man CRAs that are effectively power 14. So you end up with 5 power 14s and 1 power 12. That's pretty good assassination with just 1 unit.
So when do they pop up? Is it control or?
No, that's burrowers pop up in maintenance, and then these guys are just a unit. They don't burrow.
Combined arms is good. The best thing you get is slip away.
Potentially, yeah. I think combined arms is better than slip away, but potentially slip away can be game changing. It's probably not going to come up, especially since they know they have slip away. So it's one of those rules, like, because you have it, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but you can just walk through things.
It's literally killing stroke, whatever the Kazi mini feat is, because it grants them acrobatic and parry, even though they already have parry.
There's no such thing as a 2-point.
Yeah, they are also only 2 points.
Even if it was 2 points for just the light mortar, that would be worth it. It's a 4-inch AoE at range 14. The fact that you get anything else, it's a very cheap. You just stack those things up point for point. It's really cheap for that.
You're not getting it for 2 points. You're getting it for like 10 points because you're buying the unit too. Yes, I agree. It is very good.
When you're buying a shredder, you're not buying a solo, but a 2-point solo that's not a shredder is, I mean, it just looks fucking silly next to a shredder. So,
except a Deathstalker, which is like a shredder that has a 12-inch long mouth.
take a shredder.
Okay.
Glacier King is not, he doesn't have assault. He is shit. He's horrible. Like
That is one way to
Wow.
look at it. He's going to throw so much wind at you, it's going to suck.
He makes Borka 1 infinitely hard to murder. Like, how can you possibly ever kill Borka 1 with frozen ground around him?
That's just true of Borka, though.
What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, it happens after you activate. Okay.
You thought his animus was if you end a move within 3 inches?
Yeah, well, it's fucking trolls. Yes. I thought this troll model said,
I'm non-immune to knockdown models.
I don't know about you, on troll models it says you must be POW 24.
And be immune to knockdown and stationary to charge me.
Basically, you have to be a Gorton Grunback Earthbreaker to challenge troll blood models currently in the game. I don't
Including pigs.
tell me if I am incorrect, and I will gladly rescind my comment. But I think I am correct.
You are incorrect. Unless you're... Although we did the math, a Sorsha 2 bonded conquest with 4 focus and harm and boundless charge should kill an Earthborn under Doomshaper 3's feet. If you don't miss 2 attacks. If you miss 2 attacks, it probably lives. And this is feat turn. I don't know if I said that.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's a feat. So
I'm
I'll
pretty
let
sure
it happen.
Scar 1 still kills him on feat turn.
Oh, sure. It's correct. You do infinite damage. That's expected. One Bane Troll
Well, it's
might
not
as well
even
be
infinite
POW
damage.
500 and be decap.
You also get the blood hack to deny the heal on all of them.
It reduces the feat by a decent chunk because of the no heal. Which is actually pretty good tech if anybody hasn't heard that yet. Entropic Force. Moving on to Doomshaper. Now we can talk about the good release of the book. Only good release in the entire book.
We already talked about him.
He is speed 5.
I'm going to take my headset off now and walk away from the table.
He hates this.
No, it's fine. He's great.
Actual problems I see with him, because everybody's done nothing but rave about how great he is. He's not Doomshaper 2, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people on the internet are currently just blowing up over him. He doesn't increase threat range at all, which is like everything Doomy 2 did. He doesn't increase outside of his feet. He doesn't increase offense at all. I was going to take Burrowers with him because I thought the Burrowers synergize really well with the feet, and they're a nice screen unit if you need to screen, and they're cheap. And they also qualify for his tier if you want tier. You can get to tier 3, and the only thing you have to take that you weren't already taking is a min unit of Burrowers, which, oh my god, you had to take a minimum.
Or you could take Flamebringers because they work.
You can take Fire Eaters. I don't like 1 unit of Fire Eaters as much as I like 1 unit of Burrowers.
Yeah, Burrowers are pretty awesome in an all-beast-centered army.
Because you can't light them on fire, so you're already only really getting 2 of them to attack.
Can't light them on fire.
Yeah, but one of them is giving up his attack to light the other 2 on fire.
Not if you take a Pyre Troll.
I think the biggest thing this guy does, how he opens up ADR for trolls. That's actually the biggest thing. I agree that everybody's yelling and screaming about how strong he is. He is basically a Madrak 1 beast brick, sort of, but he doesn't have Carnage.
He gives up the offense for just, I literally don't die. I press the don't die button and go in.
If the faction was Fury 4, I would say it would be balanced. With Fury 5, I think it's slightly imbalanced, but who cares? Unless you knock shit down or slam and that kind of stuff. Unless you're slamming your own models, defense 16 is going to give it like a headache. It's going to give a headache. What's really funny is the thing that Doomshaper does not deal with is the shit that was really popular a while ago, like defense 15 infantry models.
His only option is my beast keep punching you. That's his option.
Repudiate sounds good to remove something like Iron Flesh, but then you got to hit the thing with Iron Flesh.
No, sure, I understand that.
Anything that gets you up high defense, it struggles with. I don't know if you can get up high enough armor, honestly, to not die. I don't think it's possible, probably, but high enough defense, it's tough. Unless your opponent's smart and does things like slamming their own shit.
I think Doomy 3 is really good. I think people are underestimating how little he does to actually kill your army. He is almost an entirely defensive caster, which everyone has said, oh my god, if trolls ever get this, they'll be broken. And now they kind of got it. So they're screaming, oh my god, it's broken. And I don't know that it actually is. Because it's like so easy. It's like, I took Boom Howlers. My Boom Howlers stand 12 inches away from your army. At some point, you feat and run at me, and then I just push Boom Howlers into base with all of your stuff, and everything else backs up 4 inches. And he's like, all right, I killed most of the Boom Howlers, if not all the Boom Howlers. Like, all right, back to plan A. We're back now on a level field. Let's play the game. Like, that's how the game was played a while ago.
If you're not on a level field, you're 9 points down.
Yeah, but you had boom howlers, so you expect to be 9 points down.
Those 9 points were never going to contribute to the game. They were.
Yeah, in that matchup, they're not going to. That single act of dying, they did more than any other boom howler unit has ever done for you.
The one hard part about this is if you don't have some way. Oh my god, never mind. I was going to say if you don't have some way to move them around like with slams, but you can't do that. Like that's the problem. Is as soon as
That's the problem, is he takes all the control elements, ability to do control against his army away.
I don't know how you manage to remove models faster than he can remove yours, unless you have high defense, small bases.
Or 70 troops.
Right. You need like Butcher 1 Kayazis that could do it. You need a bunch of small-based melee specialists. So you need basically Cador.
They lose to Crix. That list does not want to play into a sea of dead. That's bad.
Yeah.
And the thing I like to think about in hindsight is if Madrak 1 was the caster coming out and Doomy 3 had been out forever, think of it in reverse. If someone told you that there was a feat that granted killing spree to every model in your control area, and he had Carnage and Surefoot, people would be losing their fucking minds talking about Theorycraft with that caster. Oh my god, you just like take Axers, and 2 Axers kill your opponent's entire army. I think it's a lot of just super hype. I don't think he's actually going to destroy the meta like everybody's thinking. He's a good caster.
Just brings more annoying armor skew into the meta. Forces you into a certain playstyle.
Current ADR is heavy Beast Brick with Doomy 3 and then Calandra Light Spam with both on ADR. And then you're actually playing Trolls all Beasts, which is actually what I wanted to play when I started playing Hordes. It came full circle, Jeremy. They said it would never happen.
Who said it would never happen?
Everyone that played the game when I started. They're like, you take as few beasts as you can.
Trollbloods, for a long time, has been the strongest beast faction for me, in my opinion. Pound for pound, Circle and Legion might have better beasts, like just on stat line, but playing an all-beast Trollblood list, so strong.
And now they have Fury management.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was quotated.
Air quotes for anybody listening.
They've always had whelps. Whelps are good enough.
All right, have we talked about Doomy enough?
I think we're pretty much wrapped up.
There's one more new release that I really wanted to talk about. That's the Chibi Rock Pin. How is the Chibi Rock Pin better than Rock? I don't understand. It looks so cool, and he looks so bad.
We didn't discuss the biggest Warmachine meta that Hordes now has. Gremlin Swarm.
Because you thought Colossals were overpowered. Don't worry, here's Gremlins and a new Rust guy.
Now you have all the tools you need, Hordes.
What I want to know is when the fuck am I going to get a solo that rots armor on a war beast?
I guess the concept is war beasts naturally have lower armor, but that's not really true.
It's really not.
I think it's fine. I mean, we should just probably let him go with it. I mean, war beasts should probably be like armor 30.
Well, then my warjacks need up like a fucking solid +1 across the board.
It's called Victor Pendrake.
I still think that Helljack should be defense 14. I think that they probably should go up a point because most of them are really cheap. But if they were all like 14, 17, like Slayers would be good. If Slayers were 6 points and they were just defense 14, like you would see Slayers.
Maybe. Probably not still.
They wouldn't be like, I only play Slayers because they're the best. Like, but they'd be good. Defense 13 is just too easy to not get missed 3 times.
I don't know if we're ready for final questions, but I like this idea of the final question. Here we go. I felt like Reckoning was a really nice release that had a lot of balance. A lot of factions got things that improved their ability to play. It brought a few factions up that were lagging behind. Like, it was a really, really nice release for game balance and variety increase. What is your opinion of this expansion, Devastation?
It's crap.
You're saying since the last expansion was positive for the game, how do we think this one was in comparison?
Yes.
I think this is worse than Reckoning, but only because not because there was imbalance in the releases, but I felt like specifically there was like 1 or 2 just major ball drops on design. I feel like the Storm Raptor was a big ball drop. Like that's not good in my opinion. Maybe I'm missing something. I usually don't understand circle shit till I see it played, but that just looks bad. Like straight fucking bad. So that would be the major one, as where I didn't really, I don't remember anything from Reckoning that was like, that's garbage. Did Brennos come out in this book or the last book? Okay, because if they got Brenos and the Storm Raptor in the same book, I might kill myself. That is terrible. I can't think of anything in Reckoning that wasn't like, this at least looks fun to play if it's not good.
I felt like Reckoning, it made the game wider for Warmachine, and it elevated some of the factions. Is I believe like this book is not contributing to Hordes very much. There are a few models in there that we'll see play, but none of the factions got more interesting. Trollbloods now are harder to kill. Guess what? They've always been hard to kill. Now they're harder to kill. Carver could always hit like a truck. Guess what? Now his truck hits harder.
Legion now plays infantry. Surprise!
There is now the Blightbringer lets 2 of their warlocks that already played infantry play infantry slightly better.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Callus. You can take Callus with him. He already has a damage buff too, and he plays infantry.
I said Callus, yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I don't listen to what you say, Parker. It's probably one of those segments when Jeremy muted my headphones and didn't say anything.
That sounds like Jeremy.
Yeah, okay.
And also you. Blightbringer takes 3 of the casters that are already playing infantry, and they lose 10 points from their list of infantry to play a Blightbringer instead. That's what it is. Like, yes, you play a Blightbringer because it's strong for infantry, but you also lost 10 points of infantry.
I combined my 2 Ravagors that I took in my infantry list into 1 Blightbringer. Like, that's the only situation in which they still play infantry.
Yeah. Hydra is a really nice beater that can go fast. That's what they already had. Like, there's just like... And then Zal, Saren, and Rias are just not strong. They're never going to be tier 2 even. I don't even play this game, and this book gave me 0 reasons to do so.
Find out.
This has been Brandon.
Peace!
Max says peace.
My name is Max. I'm going to sign out now because I'm Max.
That sounds true like Spence's version of you.
My name is Max. I have throat cancer. I'm a demon.
I have throat cancer. I'm Batman.
This has been Jeremy.
Brandon. This is Brandon. Welcome to Learn to Wargame.
No! We're not starting the second one yet.
All right. So this time we will be doing how to sign out properly. That's our topic.
Yeah.
I'm
Jeremy.
Parker. I'm signing out. I'm Parker.
Parker.
I'm Parker.
I'm Parker.
Signing out.
Next time we should just do imitation voices of everybody. Like I'll pretend to be Max. Max can pretend to be Jeremy. Jeremy can pretend to be Parker. Parker pretend to be me. We'll see how long we can make it without anybody knowing. So practice.
How do I turn my voice more sarcastic?
I'm Ron Burgundy. Bourbon helps. I usually drink what's in Long Island iced tea. I drink
Everything.
There's definitely tea in it.
No, that's what's not in it.
I also have these mojito things. I think there's chili in these because it's I don't know.
Brandon, the point of Long Island iced tea is that you mix everything together to make it taste like tea.
Yes, you
It
put
doesn't have
the
tea
liquor
in
with
it.
the tea.
It doesn't have tea.
Point do you add the tea?
Never.
No, it definitely has tea in it.
No, it's mixed together to taste like tea.
But you can't make something that's not tea taste like tea.
Oh, yes, you can.
I disagree. It tastes more like syrup. It tastes it tastes like Coke. Like it's more what it tastes like than tea.
You know why it tastes like Coke? It's got a splash of Coke in it.
Mine doesn't.
By that he means cocaine.
No, Brandon's doesn't.
I do cocaine.
Brandon's
If I
doesn't
splash,
because
you
he
need
buys
spoon.
it in a Capri Sun bag, and they can't afford to put Coca-Cola in it.
I do like adult Capri Sun. It's only $17 a pouch. Hold on, how much is in a pouch? 7.5 liters. That's pretty good. That's like a liter of cola right there.
That's a handle.
One handle? Is that a lot? What's normal proof for hard liquor?
40.
40 proof, that's 20% alcohol. This is 15% alcohol. So if I drink that whole thing, it's almost like drinking a handle, like it's 3/4 of a handle. Because I've definitely done that in one sitting. Oh, by the way, my rum bottle, check this out. I didn't realize I had gone through 2/3 of a bottle a day.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about rum. It's like, awesome. Oh, my pancreas.
Where's the rum at? Oh, we're out of rum. Did we buy 4 bottles? Yeah, that's
Wait,
weird.
is Cool Kurt in the room?
Yeah, Kurt drank all my.
That's
Favorite is that?
That's what we tell ourselves.
Yeah.